Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Host of Talking with Famous People. Put this link in here. Put this link right here. Like Pew. There you go. Okay, so we're talking today a little bit about front stack, back stack. What's the difference? Some people like the back stack, like to go in the back door. Others fans of the front stack. So anyway, there's this document here that I put here in a link that explains the various slots, what they are, and this is specifically for INFJ. INFJ used as an example in this table. There, I put that there so it's clear. Change the font. Caveat. That's good. That's totally what this is, a caveat. Okay, so hi, King Krishna Sarmapagu. How are you today? King Krishna Sarmapagu. It's King Krishna Sarmapagu. Oh, pew, 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 pew. You got poo on my shoe, King Krishna Sarmapagu. Okay, and Susan Bogan is here too. Well, there's your problem, King Krishna Sarmapagu. You weren't subscribed to my channel. Just get out of here, King Krishna Sarmapagu. Can't believe you betrayed me like that. You should report to YouTube. I should report to YouTube what? Oh, they unsubscribed you without your knowing? You must have done it accidentally. It's a YouTube proud? I don't seem to be dropping random subscribers very often. What is popping? Pop rocks in my mouth every time I pour soda on top of them. It is. Trust me. I trust you, King Krishna Sarmapagu. After all, you are an INTP. Which means you know things about stuff. That's one of the general areas of expertise of the INTP, is knowing things about stuff. So, yeah. I don't know if you've heard the good news, and it's pretty good news, but I uploaded an exciting new song today called Stuffed Full of Frogs. And I'm going to put the link here to encourage you to watch it with your eyes and listen to it with your ears. Okay, Stuffed Full of Frogs. Why is this person stuffed full of frogs? Well, it's hard to say, frankly, but it's nevertheless the case that he's stuffed his cabinets full of frogs. So if you'd like to find out why Jonas has stuffed his cabinets full of frogs, then I'd suggest clicking that link. Go ahead and give that a little watch, give that a little listen to, and you'll discover the truth about frogs, about curry, about King Krishna Sarmapagu. It's all in that song. If you've been wondering a lot about what King Krishna Sarmapagu's got going on, if you've been thinking to yourself, what kind of curry will she be cooking today? The answer is chicken. Spicy? That's up to you. So make it however you want. You want it super spicy? Fine. Well, just a little bit spicy? Fine. You want no spice? Just don't even eat curry then. Just eat something else. Why would you even want that? That's what Kankan Krishna Samarpagu says anyway. I was quoting her there. And Susie as well, she says, I had Big Curry. And I say, cool, Susie, cool. Appreciate that. It's going to take you till 9 o'clock to finish dinner? Is that what it's going to take? It's going to take you like 7 hours to cook? Because I'm hungry now. We had this problem before, remember? Well, Kankan Krishna Samarpagu, your cooking style may be minimalism, but that's better than having a cooking style of nihilism. A nihilistic cooking style, just eat dirt and ashes all day long. Don't let the nihilist cook is a commonly heard expression. If I made a TWFP satire video, would you watch it? Yeah. About me, I'll watch it. Make fun of me, I'll watch it. About me, I'll watch it. Your cooking style is stoicism. Ag Horus? The food of the Ag Horus? Hey, everybody. It's Shabadoo. Stoic cooking is when you just put a piece of bread on the counter, wait for it to become stale, and then nibble at it patiently, I guess. If your cooking style is Buddhist, then food's just an illusion. You get a bowl of air. The only reason you think it's not satisfying is your attachment. You're attached to eating. It's the problem. Once you're in enlightenment, you don't need that anymore. Yes, Vic M. Ruiz, you are correct. I have an actual model of cognitive functions that makes sense. It's an actual case that explains things and that that has reasons behind it, you see. There are reasons that are consistent with other reasons. So, for example, let's talk about what an attentional manner is. We know that an attentional manner is something like knowing versus deliberating. We can distinguish between it, right? So, for example, I can know the answer to a question already, or I can have to figure out the answer to the question. Those are different attentional processes. I can think about what I'm going to do, or I can just do it. Those are different attentional processes. This is a basic description of reality. If you don't begin with a basic understanding of reality, you're going to get it wrong. So what I'm saying is that's what we're talking about when we're talking about personality types and cognitive functions. When C.S. Joseph says you can be stuck in your shadow, he reveals he understands nothing about what it means to have an attentional process. An attentional process is a habitual way of paying attention. You are reflexively habituated to it. You cannot be stuck in ways that are not conscious and willful to you, because if that were the case, then you wouldn't be awake. Now, C.S. Joseph doesn't have a typing system. C.S. Joseph is blowing smoke up everyone's ass. C.S. Joseph doesn't know anything about anything. What he has is confidence. What he has is a fairly official-looking kind of setup. He's got some good tech skills, I guess. He's got some. He's well organized. He stays on topic, and he only talks about one thing. He doesn't upload any songs or anything like that. So that's what he's got. He's got what is called competency theater. There's no actual ideational robustness to anything he says or does. The man has no capacity to think well enough to get this right. He is not a smart person, not even a little bit smart. Does Rachel make sure you're fed on time? We are on the same biorhythm too. It's weird. It's like we get hungry at the same time, we get sleepy at the same time. It's amazing how LinkedIn have just locked into each other's ways we are. We work on it together. We both need to work on it. Sometimes I piggyback off her SI. Sometimes she piggybacks off mine. Like the other day, she's like, "Let's brush our teeth before we leave." I was like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." Eric, do people generally have a good relationship with their sixth slot function? Does it help them, or does it antagonize, or what? Well, it depends a little bit on whether or not your sixth slot function is the same aspect as your dominant. So, for example, INTP has TI, which is a metaphysical function, in the first slot. They've got NE, which is a metaphysical function, in the second slot. And they've got NI, which is a metaphysical function, in the sixth slot. So they are much more comfortable with their sixth slot function, and it's much more consistent with their whole way of being than, say, me. I've got NE metaphysical, TI metaphysical, but my sixth slot function is TE, which is physical. So I find it much more than an INTP finds NI. I find NI very appealing, and I validate a lot of stuff on it. And the thing is, INTPs, unlike most, the norm for sixth slot, don't really countervalue NI. They certainly don't countervalue the frame of truth. They just think that it's their job to tell everybody the NI thing, and that they are not subject to NI being told to them. And so that's what it means with the sixth slot function. In part, is like, I'm happy to provide TE for you. If you say, okay, Eric, how do you do this? I'll figure it out for you, and I'll do it, because I expect the world to ask that of me. Am I thrilled to be doing that? Is it work? Yes. Am I thrilled to be doing it? No. But I'm perfectly capable of doing that and expect to have to do that. So it's comfortable for me in some sense to provide TE for other people when they request it of me. But I don't use TE in my own life hardly at all. I mean, not willfully anyway. Like yesterday, I put up this board across this gap that I needed to put up, this little chore task thing I needed to do. And I brute forced it. I did it like NE style. Instead of figuring out how to measure it and such that I could actually do the right cuts right once, I did one cut proper, and I couldn't figure out how to determine where exactly to cut it, because I needed to angle it, and I couldn't put it up against the thing. So I just angled it a little too long, and then made it a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter, a little shorter, until I got it in there. Is that good TE? Well, no. But it's good enough TE. It worked. Was it an efficient way to do it? No. Did it accomplish my goal? Yes, ultimately it did. And it was good enough. It did take a lot more effort and time than it should have. Yes, but it was done. So do people have a good relationship with their sixth slot function? Well, even INTPs don't want to have you say, here's the truth you need to capitulate to, because just like I don't want other people telling me, here's how you need to do this. Although I will follow those instructions sometimes if they're right. I may not love being TE corrected, but I will follow the instructions if they're correct. If it really is a better way. And there's some people I don't mind deferring TE to, like Cameron, my ISTJ friend. He really likes to do shit like fix stupid things and figure out how to do stupid things, and I don't know, shit that I'd hate, But the squares, Eric, just be the square. What square? I would also point out that another type that's like that is it's like INTP is ISFP is also they have the same, they're what you'd call a double knower, just like INTP is a double knower. So ISFP is double knower the other way. They know with their NI third slot, and then they also know with their SI demonstrative. The thing that you can think about third and sixth as being two halves. Third is what we use for ourselves and our own selfish purposes. Sixth is what we use when we have to be selfless, when we have to be serving the world. And together they form basically one complete whatever kind of function. Because 3 and 6 are the same kind of function. So for me, they're both interface functions. For Susie, they're both knowledge functions. For an INFJ, they're both deliberation functions. And so you can see additionally how like that sixth slot plays out differently in ISFJ and INFJ. ISFJ has sixth slot FI, but their sixth slot FI is consistent with their dominant, and it's their tool function that's out of whack with that. So, they end up having just as much likelihood of going SIFI. SIFI, is ultra particularist. They demonstrate it's a demonstrative function. They're demonstrating FI all the time. ISFJ demonstrative FI is much different than INFJ demonstrative FI, because for the INFJ, the FI runs counter to their nature. It's opposed to their NI's metaphysicality. It's opposed to their tool function, FE's metaphysicality. It's opposed to their tertiary's, TI's metaphysicality. And see, that's the difference. It's like for an ISFJ, TI is inconsistent with the dominant function, and FI is consistent with the dominant function. So they're double. They're not double, but they're well, you could call them sort of like double knowers. Except the thing is, unlike INTP, the second function is inconsistent. But regardless, I mean not double knowers, double deliberators. Regardless, they're much closer in frame to the logics of FI, and less close in frame to the logics of TI than INFJ, who's closer in frame to the logics of TI and less close in frame to the logics of FI. INFJ does not have a lot of respect for FI per se, except when it's legit, wholly legit. And, I'm developing a lot of respect for FI because I'm learning just how incredibly impactful it is. Like yesterday, I was on Adderall. I got my bottle on the day before. I didn't take it that afternoon when I got it. I waited till the next morning to take it because I wanted to sleep, and I'm glad I did, even though historically I would have just been like pop, 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 But yesterday I took 75 milligrams, and I was pretty reasonably thwackaged, I guess. Not super thwacked, but I was very busy all day. I did a bunch of tasks, accomplished a bunch of things, and I felt very robotic in the process. Like I lost this FI connection that I'd been carrying around all the time with Rachel. Distant, disconnected. I felt distant and disconnected. So, in the evening, hi Isaiah Rude. In the evening, I said, okay, well, I need FI time. And then we lay down together and hugged and just played like I love you thing, right? So the thing to note here is how much of a massive impact that has on my being. Lying down with somebody that you feel safe loving and who's loving you back, and just hugging them and saying, I love you too, I love you so much, blah, 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 all that mushy stuff, right? Um, it's incredibly therapeutic. It's like it reset my whole being. It made me go from state of meh and discomfiture to being sleepy and ready to go to sleep, you know? Does she countervalue FI? Well, the thing is, it's funny about FI. For her, it's supposed to be what she expects the world to expect of her. But what I'm gleaning from Rachel in this circumstance is she's being surprised in some regard, as am I, by the actuality of the FI and the possibility of using FI in her own life meaningfully. So, of course, I'm asking her to demonstrate FI for me. I'm the world demanding this of her. What she seems to be experiencing is that she actually has exactly what I'm asking for, and it's very easy for her to honestly and freely and without a lot of effort offer that sort of FI embrace of me, like basically to FI saying, "You are precious to me." Whether I'm FIing her, she's FIing me. It's you are precious to me, and I hold you in high esteem, high regard, and I value you a great deal. For FE people, we sort of shortcut away from the sense that we are valuers and therefore must have inherent value because we're a level above that which is valued. We don't see ourselves as valuers. If you're FE types, you see yourself as valued. So it's important then that reality confirm that. And it can only confirm it through extroversion. If you get two FI people together, they can love each other silently. And they can love each other probably just sitting across the table from each other, staring at each other's eyes and going, but I need words and physicality. And I think Rachel does too. And we give each other what we need. And oh, thanks. I don't remember that one. I don't remember what the song was I played, but I'll go check it out now that you've mentioned it. Anytime anybody mentions a song of mine that they like or music of mine that they like, I go fucking find out what they're talking about right away. Because that's so much more important to me than all the stuff that is supposed to be more important to me. I love the unspoken words between people. I love the vibe more than the words. I mean, I like the whooshiness of emotions in the chest, fine, but it's like, well, that's a good sign, Jonathan Buchanan. That means you've got a good song there. If you write a song and you say, it sounds familiar though, maybe it sounds like something I've heard before, but you can't peg exactly what it is that you think it sounds like or where you've heard it before, that means you've got a good song, a true song, a song that is inherently resonant. A lot of people will throw those out because they're afraid that they're copying something. But you got to get past that and realize that your best songs are the most intuitive ones, not the least intuitive ones. Oh, how much we can fall for that need for assurance. Well, it's not falling for it. I mean, you actually have it. You actually have a need for reassurance and assurance and being actively valued. You will thrive best when you are most safe. And when you are most safe, it means you've got a teammate who loves the living shit out of you and makes it abundantly clear to you all the time. When she does tarot readings, do you have switch FTI? No. Because it's instrumental, it's a tool function anyway. And I have a metaframe that accounts for things like magical thinking. So it's like it has its appropriate place in my constellation of modalities. And I like it. I don't mind playing magic. The key thing about magical thinking is the only problem with magical thinking is that it doesn't serve as an argument for anything. And people who are too into magical thinking will use it as arguments for things or use it to justify decisions or choices or whatever. I certainly don't do any of that. It's like I understand mortality awareness. Yeah, well, mortality awareness is an important thing in the sense that um, well, I mean, mortality awareness is important. Kanki and Krishna Sarmapagu, do you have to shit on stuff? Do you have to spread your butt cheeks with your hands and put your butthole over Isaiah's rude face and squeeze out a loaf onto it? Do you really have to do that? I don't think so. Um, Sheila W., you know what I get irritated by? People who don't use their grown-up words to express themselves. Who expect me to read their fucking minds, you know? Yeah, I know Kankan Krishna Sarmapagu, that poem. Oh, that was already there. Never mind. It's okay. Hey, that's fourth slot FE. You spoke truth. You used your demonstrative NI before your fourth slot FE kicked in. It's totally understandable. That's why you're always leaving your poo on my shoe as well. I've asked you to stop doing that on a number of occasions, and yet every time you come back here, what do? You rub some poo on my shoe. He doesn't need words for reassurance. He's checking for actuality, right? Something concrete, not just moisture. Moisture is not concrete. Moisture is not a thing. Moisture is not a reason for anything. Moisture is just something that is nice and it's like, it's healing. It's an experiential thing, okay? It's not an idea. It's not an argument. Sheila W., will you stop denying your inherent ISFJ-ishness? I just am not buying your ISFP self-identification. Not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, not ever. You, Lady Pants McGee, are an ISFJ. Moisture is a reason for rust. Moisture is also a reason for trust, but it's also the thing that gets betrayed when trust is betrayed. So it's